Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Group Chat. We have a action-packed episode. We are talking about what everyone in the world is talking about right now, which is the leak from Politico regarding Roe versus Wade. We are also talking about my favorite brand in the world. And we also are seeing some shocking news regarding job openings. There are, check this, 2 job openings for every unemployed person right now. Mm-hmm. So if you are unemployed, you can go get 2 jobs. That's how many jobs there are available.
It's a lot of jobs.
A lot of jobs. Steve Jobs. So let's get into it. And we have so much more to talk about. Let's go.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, Group Chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone. We are back with another episode of Group Chat. And seems like the whole world is talking about one thing, really America. Last night when I was about to go to sleep, I got a notification that Politico received a document that said that they are discussing the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. And I was like, no way. There's no way that this is actually even being considered. So apparently there was a leaked opinion from the Supreme Court kind of sharing why there's a possibility of overturning Roe v. Wade. I've not read the opinion. I kind of got the high-level highlights of it, and I saw everyone's really pissed. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, so basically this opinion was written in February, and it's not final. So it's supposed to be like a formal opinion in a couple months, and all indications is that they have enough justices to overturn it based on, what the opinion says and how they're, thinking about language. And there's a couple like big story items here. One, if this were to get overturned, it would be an unmitigated disaster. And this is what, it's kind of sad on so many levels. Obviously extremely sexist, saying, women have no autonomy over their body. And then it basically gives the rights to the state level to basically implement whatever rules they want on abortion. And if you're a rich Republican in Mississippi, you could hop on a flight to LA and go get an abortion because it's not going to get overturned in California. So it disproportionately affects poor people, disproportionately affects minorities. Because guess what? That same rich Republican that's claiming they're pro-life, if their daughter got raped, do you think they're going to let her have a baby?
No, of course not.
So it's nuanced in the sense that like each state is going to have their own set of rules of what is allowed in abortion. The most draconian is rape doesn't count, incest doesn't count. Nothing counts. You just basically like have to have the baby. Other states may have different rules. They're saying if this were to happen, 26 states would have, anti-abortion laws, which is pretty significant. And I think the thing to note is a couple things. 4 of the 5 justices that have been appointed to the Supreme Court were appointed by presidents that did not have the majority vote. So that's interesting. So we have justices. I know the Electoral College elects the president, but then if you don't represent the majority of the country, you're appointing justices that are affecting the majority or affecting the whole country. So public opinion, I was looking at 60% pro-choice, 40% pro-life, which knowing how polling works, that is significant.
Yeah.
Given how divided the country is. So like, for example, if you were running for president and you had 60% of the popular vote, you're like a hero. That just doesn't happen.
It's a landslide.
It just doesn't happen. So this is like a landslide in the respect that the majority of the country believes in a woman's right to choose. And So obviously it's fucking stupid that this is even being discussed. It's been around for 50 years. And why are we even discussing it in 2022 where the country's changed more towards pro-choice rather than pro-life from 50 years ago? And the polling shows it, the data shows it, everything shows it. You could take out the morality of it. Everything points to the country believes one thing. And go ahead. Sorry. I know I just went on a little rant.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is that, this is clearly politically motivated. It's not like this was strategically thought by the Donald Trump and folks that appointed these guys as justices. And there are few cases and few things that affect a vast majority that the Supreme Court rules on, and this is probably the biggest. And so this was clearly strategically part of the plan, and this is what concerned people early on when these folks were getting appointed during the Trump presidency. And what I am shocked more than anything is that politically, the Republicans are on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They have every tailwind going into the midterm elections. They have inflation. They have a slowing economy. They have a shitty stock market. They have a potential recession. Everything is going in your favor.
Gas is at all-time highs.
Gas is at all-time high. Why are you even talking about this right now? Wait, if you just being strategically, if this actually matters to the Republican Party for whatever wacky reason it does, why not wait till you have the power, the presidency, the Congress to go after this thing? And I know I was trying to think, this was clearly leaked by someone that wanted to get ahead of it. Mm-hmm. In hopes that it'll rally people around. Because when I think politically, in the fall, I didn't think Democrats had any shot of anything, winning anything.
Yep.
This just changed everything.
It did change everything, and I'm going to take a different point of view in that Supreme Court justices are appointed for life, and I think you have some really conservative justices who probably wanted to do this for decades. They have the votes to do it, and they don't give a shit about the midterms. And they're like, let's just get it done. Because the rumor, these are all rumors, is that it was actually from the far right wing of the justice, like a clerk, that released it to basically put beer boy Kavanaugh on notice. You now you can't change your mind, right? Then you're saying Kavanaugh, beer guy, is basically like, oh, you changed your mind because the public is, all against you. So they're trying to pin him into a corner. That's the political calculus that everyone thinks the Supreme Court is working on. And I don't think the Supreme Court gives a shit about the midterms because, like you said, this is as dumb as it gets because there's this a rally cry when Republicans would have had won in a landslide. They already are going to win the House. They're going to win the Senate. They were. It was going to be like a full red tsunami. And, I think the court was just so passionate about this one subject and don't give a shit if Republicans lose an election.
I don't know. I still think it might have been leaked by someone that was...
Because I was reading McConnell's quotes. There was some Republican lunch. He's pissed. He's like, the story of the day is this leak, not the opinion. And that's stupid. But he knows it's going to crush them in the midterms.
Yeah. They were cruising.
Yeah.
They were Tom cruising to another victory.
So McConnell's pissed. So that I think it's interesting because I think it's just the far right in the Supreme Court just wanted to get this done and they saw an option. And we don't know what the opinion is going to ultimately be.
Yeah, exactly. It could completely change when it's time for the ruling.
The scary part of the language, I read the Cliff Notes. There's some pretty good Instagram accounts that were digesting each paragraph. And the scary part is that the language is pretty vague that it's a slippery slope. So they go for Roe v. Wade. The same court could go after gay marriage. And they were like hinting at different rules that like hundreds of years ago, these people didn't have rights to do this. Why should they have them now? And I think that's extremely scary as well. So is this like, and Kavanaugh, beer boy, was on record saying he wouldn't overturn Roe v. Wade. What changed before he got confirmed?
Yeah, I mean, and look,
and let's not forget that Kavanaugh wasn't convicted, but he was accused of sexual assault.
Yeah,
and he's voting on what a woman should do. Yeah,
I mean, look, I'll have to believe it till it actually happens. I still have faith that these are some of the smartest people, right, in the country, whether they're conservative or liberal. They're very well educated. They're very well thought through. I mean, these guys think all day about these things. So I'm hoping that court of public opinion does go into their decision-making process, because I think it does matter. It's not just the law of the land. It actually does matter how the people feel.
Of course it matters, because there's constitutional truthers that look at the document that was created well over 200 years ago, and they dissect every sentence and say that's how the country should be governed. That's assuming nothing's evolved.
Yeah.
Right? Like when the Constitution is written, slavery was okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't evolve your thinking of the way society is moving, and when the society is clearly telling you one thing and you're ruling against it, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm curious to see what happens the next week, because obviously everyone has an opinion on this right now. And I saw that a lot of people are organizing protests all over the country. Politicians are going to get involved. Companies are going to get involved. Man, the Republicans fucked up. This is a dummy move, dummy amateur move. This should not be a discussion anymore. It's over. Gay marriage, over. Move on. You know, it's the same way Democrats are not hanging on to like, we're going to take away your guns. We know that's never going to happen. Instead, like, let's work within the system and say, can we have some sort of background check on everyone that, you know, has the ability to purchase a gun? Like, people also just need to like evolve their thinking, even if you believe in something. So I go back to during the pandemic, everyone did not like being told to wear a mask, did not like being told to get vaccinated. And eventually the world evolved in their thinking and said, you get to make that decision. You want to get vaccinated? You want to wear a mask? Why is it different when it comes to this? That is something that, I don't understand. Not everyone in America is a Christian and believes in Christianity and what they stand for. There are a lot of people that don't believe in anything. There's a lot of people that believe a different religion. So it's just, America is in a very unique situation because it was birthed on a very distinct set of beliefs that applied to the people then, but do not apply to everyone today.
Yep.
And, a part of this to me is just like these extreme reactions happening on both sides cause for extreme overcorrection on both sides, which causes neither of the groups to get any power, which is so stupid strategically. It's the same way like the left overreacts on things and goes so far that we swing all the way back. And now these guys are talking about some ancient shit here and they're going to revert back, and it's going to revert back to nowhere. And we're going to get nowhere again.
What I'm blown away is in 2021, the same Supreme Court upheld Obamacare.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, is the most important piece of legislation in my lifetime. And I've been a direct beneficiary, our family, from Obamacare. And we know the Republican Party hated Obama's guts. He had this one window where he could get it done. He had the majority in the Senate. He had 60 senators. He had the control of the House, so they couldn't get filibustered. And Republicans always, Mitch McConnell in 2008, when Obama was elected, said my entire goal is to block every piece of legislation Obama has, regardless of what it is. So right there, like, what's your point? Like, you have no interest in helping anyone.
Yeah.
But how did this same court upheld Obamacare when all Republicans universally hated Barack Obama? And damn right, it was race involved of why they hated him.
Yeah. So the Republicans did. Maybe the court didn't. The court was like, healthcare is probably important. That's why I'm not sold that this opinion is going to be the fact. I think Kavanaugh might be a pussy.
Maybe Bud Light and Heineken need to do like a campaign for Kavanaugh.
I think he's going to get a lot of pressure. I think he's going to get a lot of pressure. Yeah. And I think I'm not sold on what the outcome of this is going to be. I think the heat's going to get turned up on all these people. And that's why I think someone who leaked it is a liberal person, because they know what's about to happen now.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that you can make the argument for both sides.
Yeah.
That you can make the point that why a liberal person would have leaked it. You can make the point why a right leading justice clerk would have leaked it.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's sad. It's what's funny is someone said, like, this is why you have to vote. And someone goes, I voted, and this still happened.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, like, I don't think people understand, like, we could all agree the dumbest college in the world is the Electoral College.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense.
And Republicans are just such better at strategy, gerrymandering. Like, Democrats have no shot. It doesn't even matter if the country leans left in a given period of time. They're just so much better at politics that they're going to control the governorships. They're going to control every time they can redistrict. They're going to penalize Democrats. They're going to do voter suppression laws to make sure minorities can't vote. They have every trick in the book.
Yeah.
It's like going to a casino and there's a guy counting cards and he knows he's going to win. And that's the Republican Party. They are cheating.
Yeah. Sure. Well, let's all keep a close eye on this. I don't want to jump too much into conclusions because, this just came out and you're seeing a lot of reaction by a lot of people. And obviously a lot of people are very upset and rightfully so. So let's, pay attention, see what happens and see, if you want to get involved, there'll be a lot of ways to get involved. It's a very, very important, sensitive topic that I think you should stay informed on.
Yeah. And it's funny. I've had conversations with friends who've done well that have been dying to vote Republican. And last night they were just like, we can't do it.
It's so insane. It's just these people are nuts. It's completely nuts. All right, let's move on to some business news. So if you, we talked about it on Sunday's episode, but Berkshire Hathaway's annual investor meeting was this weekend in Nebraska, in Omaha. And one thing he released is that he has unleashed $50 billion into the market in the first quarter.
What's interesting, and he wrote his annual shareholder letter that he released February 26th, and he said, I can't find anything I want to buy. And in the next 3 weeks, he unleashed $50 billion.
And what's his famous line?
His famous line is, be fearful when everyone's greedy, be greedy when everyone's fearful. And every conversation you have with anyone who follows the stock market closely is like, we're screwed. Everything's going to shit.
And this guy just dropped 50 billion.
The greatest investor of all time, undoubtedly, by any measure.
It's unbelievable. The guy and
he even had the quote. He's like, we don't make money because we're smart. We make money because we're sane. And he said, Wall Street is just a gambling casino that gets ahead of their skis when things are going well, and then gets really scared when things are going poorly. Like in 2008, remember, he started buying, he did that Goldman Sachs convertible note.
Yeah.
And he made a fortune on it. Because he's like, the Fed has clearly said all these banks are going to stay solvent. We're going to back them. Goldman's the premier brand. Like this isn't like that much science in what he's doing.
No.
And it's like the Goldman's the premier brand. So if you believe banks are going to exist, hey, why don't I do a very favorable convertible note to myself that's going to convert into equity and make a shitload of money?
Yeah, and by the way, you know, the stuff that he's buying is it's his Microsoft shares, it's Amazon, it's Apple, it's like he's not like he's finding these like gems.
You know what's bad for climate change is he's super long fossil oils. He bought Chevron and Occidental Petroleum. Yeah. So if he's buying it, he's like, this shit's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to increase.
And like, you know, he is like, when you look at like, I talked about this on Sunday, that, you know, if you look at what Amazon is worth today, is called, I think, 1.3 trillion.
Yeah.
What people have said, that they're basically valuing AWS at $1 trillion and the rest of Amazon at 300 billion, which is just not fucking accurate. Right? It to me, it feels very undervalued as a company. Sure, they're going to have their headwinds, but they ain't going anywhere. They are the premier e-commerce company on earth. Yes, they're going to have competition from Walmart. And you look at these companies, and this is why, like, I don't mind his Bitcoin comments, because his investing principles are very simple. It's got to produce cash. It's got to produce an asset that he understands. So that principle works for him. And so he sticks to it. He doesn't never deviate from it. He basically missed the technology boom and is probably the best technology investor now.
He's definitely, by individual, made more money in technology than everyone but probably Bezos and Musk.
Yeah. And the guy didn't even have probably a phone until like 5 years ago.
And the thing is, I had two friends arguing about this this week. One said because he missed crypto, his basically view of the world is pretty narrow, and it just shows he's kind of washed, right? And then the other friend who's an investor says, I don't think he cares, because he's like, I know what I'm good at and I can continue to produce returns. So is your job to be the most knowledgeable person in the world or just a really good investor? His job is just to be a really good investor. So it doesn't matter if he misses crypto. If he put, what did he put? How much has he made on Apple? He's made over 100 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. Who cares about crypto?
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with his view on crypto. I think he's wrong, but it doesn't matter. He can deploy way more amounts of capital and make more money.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what I think, like, what makes great founders, great investors, just great leaders, is that he's not driven by fad or ego. He's just saying, this is what I know.
Yep.
And I'm going to stick with it. And I think
it's similar. Like, you can give credit to Evan Spiegel when he shat all over the metaverse and says, we don't talk about the metaverse within Snap's headquarters.
We don't talk about meta no more.
But his point is basically like, I don't understand it, so we're not making it part of our company. We're not going to run like every single other company's done. Yeah. I mean, if you think about separate, obviously from Facebook, who went all in, but like every Fortune 500 consumer brand is like dabbling in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that, you know, and if you see what Facebook did, it's, you know, he could be absolutely right and prove us all wrong, or he just took the biggest risk for his company, going after what, you know, is still very unknown. You could make a bet into the metaverse. I don't see a problem with that, but like, we're like all in on it. We don't even know what it is yet.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about focusing on what you're good at and just continuing to do that better can actually end up with the same result, which at the end of the day, what's everyone's result? They want more money. That's it. Yep. No one cares about anything else. Like, do you have to make the money in crypto? Why? If you can make it selling oil, fuck it.
Yeah. If you're a really good oil investor, why are you bothering in crypto?
Yeah. And I think and you're hearing that from a lot of older folks that have been around like different cycles. They're like,
But I was actually thinking about this today. So you don't have to understand crypto to understand at a deep level to understand that it's clearly here to be part of the future. So I think it would be irresponsible not to own Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point as part of your portfolio if you're actively investing your life savings. I think it's pretty clear what portion of it you decide, but not having exposure, I think, is kind of silly. But at the same time, to be successful in the metaverse, you need to spend 16 hours a day on it. To be successful in DeFi, you need to spend 16 hours a day on it. So, and be successful in NFTs and all this stuff, like, it's not for drive-by passive investors. Those parts of crypto because of how volatile it is. It's similar to, like, if you're going to trade options, you have to look at it from 6:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. West Coast time. Because if you don't, you could lose all your money very quickly. And so there's two different things. You can invest in crypto without having to dive in. Just allocate some to some of the safe assets and then focus on whatever you're really good at.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we're going to take a quick break and head down to Leisuretown, our favorite hemp-infused seltzers and our favorite business model to sell hemp-infused seltzers. All you got to do is head over to Leisuretown.io. Use the code GroupChat25 and you get 25% off a 12-pack of hemp-infused seltzers, by the way, that taste delicious, have 25 milligrams of CBD. You get whitelisted on future NFT drops, access to Leisuretown events, entries into giveaways, access to tasting events, and you get a one-of-one license to chill Leisuretown NFT. And by the way, there's no stupid gas fees. You just use your credit card and boom, you're back in business. So head over to Leisuretown.io, use the code GroupChat25 for 25% off. Back to the episode. All right, tomorrow's a big day.
Yeah.
Your boy Jerome Powell is back with this guy makes me so nervous. I am just
he may need security after tomorrow, depending on what he says.
So for people who haven't been following, they're going to announce a rate hike tomorrow. And that's not the surprise. The surprise is what his tone is.
Mm-hmm.
Is he indicating there'll be further interest rate hikes? How aggressive will the Federal Reserve be? Is he saying, whoa, you know what? We are seeing a slow in consumer demand. Maybe we don't need to raise as much interest rates. Whatever that comes out of this man's mouth tomorrow will dictate the next month.
Yes. It's scary.
It's blockbuster TV.
And it trickles down from not just public investing to private investing.
Oh, yeah.
It trickles down to everyone that's in the world of needing capital for a business or deploying capital because that's your job, or your life savings, because your life savings could flip either way depending on the notes from tomorrow. So they're going to look at the most important thing is the CPI numbers for April are coming out this week. And it'll show if inflation got tamed a little in April and how they view it. So we already know we had a contraction in the first quarter. We know the economy is slowing. We know sentiment has changed. So the only thing is you can get an answer both ways from very smart people. So it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of technical indicators showing that there's going to be a near-term bounce because of the way the options market is trading at large volumes. That there's a lot of people going long really short term. So they're expecting a near-term bounce, not necessarily a bull market again. So, I mean, shit, who knows? But
I'm okay with flat. I just don't want more down.
Yeah, we just don't want. I mean, when you know you're entering into a contractionary economy, why would this guy say anything to further deteriorate the stock market? You can also take the view, if you really think about it, forget the rich who've made a ton of money and everyone thinks that they're the only ones that care about it. If you have a 401k and you're about to retire, this last 4 months wasn't very pleasant to you. You may have to, if you get another leg down 20, 30%, you may have to go back to work.
Yeah. Not down with that. No one's trying to go back to work. In fact, there's a record 11.5 million job openings in March. It's unbelievable. The inflation, wages are rising. All signs point to kind of tough times ahead. And still there are fucking job openings at a record level. There's 2 job openings for every person who is unemployed.
Yeah, there's 4.5 million people quit their jobs in March.
What are you doing?
Where are all these people paying rent? All the abatements are gone. Where are people making money?
You're not making money off stock market. You're not making money on crypto. There's just...
Is this just gig economy workers? They're going to work at Instacart and stuff? As delivery?
That shit's got to be down. Everything is down. Everything's down. I'm sorry. I bet you if you look at the data of the gig economy, it is gig the fuck out.
I'm just curious where these people are earning income, or is it they moved home and they're like, hey, life's kind of good. I get dinner at 6 p.m. I get all my bills paid for, groceries paid for, and they just didn't go back to living on their own.
So 4.5 million people a month are just going back to the parents' house.
Or realized I already live here because of the pandemic. Why would I leave? There's got to be like a large number of people that still haven't moved back out.
I bet you there's so many like actual boomer generation, like our parents' generation, that are housing their children are like, Jesus Christ, these guys are back.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, why is my son still here? Get the fuck out.
And clearly not working.
Yeah.
Just sitting on his computer gaming and on Discord.
40-year-old Billy just not working.
I think there's a lot of Billies.
Yeah. It's fascinating that the job opening is that high. I mean, like, I get people are like, there's a lot of things in life that I have to do that I don't want to do, but I have no choice. So I do it. And you could view that like working is one of those things that like you have no choice if you need to earn a living, pay bills, and not everyone will get an opportunity to have a dream job, but you have to have a job to give your shot to get give your shot a self to get a dream job.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think because the average inheritance in the U.S. between 2016 and 2019 was $46,000. So if you're planning on not working and one day you think 46,000 is going to get you what you want in life, I don't know where these people are earning money.
I have no idea. It's just, I'm blown away when I saw that number.
They just rather have their parents work. Like, oh, your 401k went down 30%. Not mine. You keep working.
I think I know where these people think they're heading to. They think they're heading to the Met Gala.
Okay.
Which happened last night in New York City. And
I don't know if Billies are getting invited to the Met Gala.
They're not, but they're watching it and saying, hey, I could dress like kind of a weirdo and get to the Met Gala. I think the thing about the Met Gala that bothers me, I actually love the event. I think culturally it's awesome and it's creative and it's cool, but it pushes such a creative envelope that it causes like a visceral reaction from like conservatives.
Yep.
That like, you know, oh, Hollywood elites, it's like a big costume party for Hollywood elites. I think there's got to be a way to figure out how to like bring Hollywood back more to the center so that more people can appreciate and enjoy this and not feel like repulsed by it. like the
Yeah.
Oscars, the Grammys. Like, we've got to find a way to like bring these things back to like a majority of people enjoying it. Because I also think it just makes for a more exciting, better experience. And you have to like diversify who you invite. And yes, some of those people are not going to be liked by the majority of audience.
So what do you think? Like Ben Shapiro should get an invite?
Tucker Carlson.
Ben Shapiro, it ranks top 10 on Facebook every single day. He's got a top 10 podcast in the world.
I mean, the only way you're going to get these conversations going where we get back to some sort of centrist thoughts is someone's got to put the olive branch out.
I don't think Tucker is it. He's
Okay.
like promoting white nationalism still.
But maybe if he goes to Met Gala,
You know
and
what's
sees
crazy?
some hot girls from another race, he'll be like, yeah, it's not that bad.
What's so crazy is when I was in high school, Tucker Carlson had a show on CNN,
I remember.
and he was pretty center. He played the Republican guy, and
Yeah.
was it James Carville, the liberal strategist, maybe
Yeah, I
the
think so.
counterpart?
I think so.
And like, it's clear he just decided, similar to like Clay Travis, when you see a message resonating and you can get really rich, you just keep tripling down. Like Clay Travis has gone off the plot. If you look
Yeah.
at what he talked about pre-pandemic to the way he talks about now, purely political. Everything Democrats do is stupid. And he used to say, "Oh, I voted for Obama. I'm center." He's like, clearly not center. You just go on his Twitter thread.
Yeah,
everything
but
is.
it's an act. It's an act. It's not real. It's just an act.
No, I know it's an act, but the point is like,
That's what I'm saying.
how
I
do you
think,
get them? I don't know how you get them
You
to.
got to invite them. You can't continue to exclude every conservative person from every Hollywood event. I think it's fucking stupid. It's just, because I guarantee you I can go down the list of every invite for every Hollywood event and find some unscrupulous characters.
Of course. I mean, they had them all for decades.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, you don't have some high moral standard at the end of the day at these events. Why not just say, yo, Clay Travis, Ben Shapiro, come on down to the Met Gala, see what we're all about.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the
someone's
problem is I don't think you could get it through Hollywood because Hollywood has already decided the path Hollywood's going to be on.
But there's a lot of conservatives in Hollywood.
The NFL can do it. The NFL can bridge conservatives and liberals because it's the most widely watched product that Americans of both sides love.
Yeah.
And I think
I just think that like I would love to see people make a more effort on both sides to include the other side on it. Like, to be fair, NASCAR is doing an incredible job.
Yep.
NASCAR is doing it. NASCAR is becoming cool. It's gotten Jay-Z involved. They're like, yeah.
Well,
we want to
Michael
get
Jordan
younger.
has a team.
Yeah, we want to get younger. We want to get cooler. That obviously means diversity. And so I just think that, like, you're seeing it happen on one side. Like, I think the Met Gala, like, I think is such a cool event. It'd be nice to see, like,
do you think Tiger Woods was invited? He's played golf with Trump many times.
No way.
You don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
So should the Nelk boys have been invited?
So look, at the end of the day,
if the Jenner family, these kids get as much.
Yeah. But it still has to do with style and, like, at least Tucker wears the bow ties. It's like, you got to have some style. It's not just you're famous. Everyone there has some sort of, like, perspective on style. That's why they're there. By the way, real quickly, two interesting comments. Gunna wore a iced out Ledger chain.
Wow.
Which was pretty hot. It looks like Ledger is becoming like a fashion accessory because it's a flex. What do you got in there?
Sounds like his endorsement is bigger than ours.
Yeah. An iced out Ledger is pretty dope. And then Elon Musk was really funny on the red carpet because he was just like fake posing, like making faces because he was obviously just like uncomfortable.
There you go. There's a guy that leans right.
I don't think he leans right.
I mean, he claims he leans center, but
yeah, he's a libertarian.
Yeah, he's a libertarian.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I love those things. I want the Grammys and Oscars to be watched, and I want I don't like seeing that like half the country tunes it out because they feel they're not politically involved, and it has nothing to do with politics. It's entertainment at the end of the day, and that's the brilliance of the NFL. They left
Yep.
political statements out, and it got everyone back engaged in the sport. And I think if I'm in Hollywood, you got to figure out how to like figure that out. It can't just be for one group of people. It's just not. I don't think that's cool. Well, that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. Last but not least, my favorite brand in the world reported earnings today. Starbucks.
Okay.
That is my single favorite brand. I think I have not a bad thing to say about Starbucks. And guess what? U.S. sales growth topped estimates.
Wow.
Topped estimates. China same store sales sank 23%. Global stores still increased by 7% and offset by strong demand in America. We were talking with our friend in our group chat that like there's no way people are still spending money on $8 coffee. And it looks like they are. And they don't give a shit. They're going to continue to spend money on $8 coffee. This is not what you're giving up.
Or the light bites at Starbucks, which I enjoy despite not drinking coffee. And I think
Their menu is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
you got to also imagine, because of the pandemic, how many mom and pop coffee shops that was like your favorite spot to go get coffee all went out of business. And Starbucks is the de facto option in so many neighborhoods now.
Yeah, there's still proliferation of these mom and pop shops. I see them everywhere. I see mom and pop everywhere.
I mean, some of the mom and pops that we used to go to are gone in our area.
Yeah.
So if you,
I just think like I know people are, will all say their opinion on Starbucks, but if all things are equal and you're out in the universe and you need to get a coffee, a snack, a lunch, something, I don't know, Starbucks pretty bulletproof and honestly pretty affordable. Like I
is
don't
it
think
affordable?
yeah, I actually don't think Starbucks is that expensive compared to like you go to some of these like kind of artisanal coffee shops, it's literally like $9 for a coffee.
Okay.
You can get at Starbucks $5. You can get like snacks $5, $6. I think it matters in what city you're in. I think there is pricing kind of elasticity depending on what city you're in, but man, and then and the app is so good. You can order before you get there.
Airbnb, Beat, they're up in after hours.
Wow. So everyone's back to spending money. That there was 1 week they didn't spend money.
But Expedia and those companies are getting crushed because they're anticipating fewer demand or less demand.
Airbnb surpasses 100 million nights booked in a quarter for the first time. So they're seeing
102 million.
All-time demand. All-time demand.
Increased 70% year over year.
Wow.
229 million of adjusted EBITDA, 1.2 billion of free cash flow.
Wow. Business is cranking. All right.
Yeah.
Well, looks like the consumer is still strong in America. It looks like China is clearly soft. Europe is clearly soft. Let's see if America can hold down the whole world and keep outspending everybody.
Let's hope Jerome Powell doesn't fuck it all up tomorrow.
Come on, JP.
JP.
You better not be pushing P.
Hopefully he is, right? That's a good thing.
I don't know why.
Doesn't it mean like you're doing something cool?
Well, I just don't want him to push his Powell everywhere.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
All right, everyone. We are heading out a shorter episode today. Life calls, so we must get back to it. But we will see you all back here on Thursday. Have a great week. Happy Hump Day. Stay alert on all the things happening in the world. There are some big things that are going to impact all of our lives in the coming days. So stay tuned. See you later.
Peace.